Women have been conditioned by society to be, act, and think a certain way. Here at Girls IRL, we encourage women to challenge societal norms and embrace their femininity. With that being said, let's get into this week's episode. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode. I feel like I'm always talking over those words. Welcome back to another episode of the Girls in Real Life podcast. I'm your host, Mariah Clayton. I hope you guys had a great first week of January. How are we feeling? This is our second week of the new year check-in. If you're watching on YouTube, I have the fireplace back in the on the TV. I try to decide if I want to have it on or if I don't, if it's cringy or if it's not, but I honestly feel like it just adds something else for y'all to kind of look at. It's just another element of the video and not just me sitting here talking to y'all. So if you guys like the fireplace, let me know. If you hate it, let me know. I just want to know what you guys think, because I feel like it can be a little bit cringy sometimes, but it's all good. I am coming to y'all from a Saturday, so literally recorded this episode 2 days ago by the time you're hearing it. As y'all know, Ace's nanny is no longer with us, so it's just really hard for me to record episodes during the week like how I was doing. But we actually a few days ago went to go and visit a school. I call it a school, I guess more so like a daycare for Ace. I had signed him up. Well, there was a waiting list for it because y'all, if you don't have kids, let me just tell you, the waiting lists for these daycares are absolutely ridiculous. Like, you could literally be waiting 6 months to a year in order to get in. So when they say you need to try and find a daycare for your baby before they're even here, they're not lying. All right. But I had applied for him to go to this school, this daycare, because I knew that I wanted him to start getting around other kids. He's getting a little bit older, so I just wanted him to be in a different environments where he can learn from the other kids, see the other kids, and then also be comfortable around more people. Which, not that Ace has a problem being social at all. He'll literally talk and laugh and smile with anybody, but I really just wanted to put him in around other kids because he loves other kids, playing with other kids. I really think he's gonna thrive in daycare, but that's not what we're talking about. So we went to go and tour the school. They were still on Christmas break, so we didn't really get to see any of his teachers or see any of the other kids that would be there, but we did walk around the facilities and it was nice. We were kind of just it felt like a daycare. It literally just felt like a daycare. It smelled like a daycare. I'm like, there's nothing really special going on here that I saw. So we ended up going to tour a different school the next day. And we walked in and the vibe was just so different. They were actually not on break. So we saw all the teachers, we saw all the staff, we saw all the kids. Everybody was so nice. You get to walk in, meet who his teachers would be if he were to get in the school, see all the other kids that are there, how they're interacting, how the teachers are interacting with them. It was just a complete 180 of an experience. So we know that we like the second school better than the first school. But this is the dilemma, because the first school can accept Ace now, which initially they told me it would be in March that they were going to be admitting new families for the school. So I was like, okay, but then they ended up emailing me randomly and was like, oh, hey, we have a spot for Ace. Let us know if you want to take it. So that's how this whole thing kind of started, because I had my mind set on, okay, Ace is going to be 1 in March. He'll start school in March. I'll feel so much better about him starting school because he'll be walking, he'll be talking a little bit better. It just made a big difference. I mean, he's almost 1, he's 2 months away from 1, but even now, just I don't know, it just makes me so anxious to send him to school because he's been with me every single day for literally his entire life. So yeah. And then the second school that we went to go and visit, they were like, yeah, the wait list is about 6 months to a year. And I was like, you're joking. We really love this school. We really love the environment, and we love you guys. Is there anything that we can do? But really there's not. There's just so many kids on the waiting list. So we're trying to decide if we're going to put him in the first school for now as just kind of a holding place, until the other school has a spot that opens up, or if he's just going to continue to stay at home with me and I just continue to watch him and take care of him until he can get into the school then. But then the problem with that is I don't have time to do the things that I need to do. I don't have time to create content. I don't have time to record my podcast. I don't have time to, like really do much of anything because I'm going to be with Ace every single day. So it's really just up to me, honestly. Like, what do I want to do? And I'm kind of struggling with the fact that like I don't want to put him in an environment, him get accustomed to that, and then we have to pull him out and stick him into another new school and he has to get accustomed to that. Like, I don't know. And I know it's really not that big of a deal. Like, people put their babies in daycares all the time. Like, it's really not a big deal. But for me, I'm just so anxious about it because I've been a stay-at-home mom like this whole time, and doing anything different just seems kind of like weird to me, and it just makes me a little bit anxious because I'm like, his nap time, like he cries himself to sleep. Like, he does not take a pacifier. He cries himself to sleep for every single nap. I'm like, how are y'all gonna do that? Like, how are y'all going to make sure that he's not gonna fall or make sure that he's safe? Like, I don't know. There's just so much to think about, especially when it comes to putting your kid in school. But they were both really good schools. I do think that they would both take really good care of them. So like I said, really it's just up to me to decide, like, what do I want to do? But yeah, that's a little AC update. I'll keep y'all in the loop on what we decide. But what else happened this past week that I have to tell you guys about? Oh, if you guys are watching, I don't know if you guys can tell, but I'm glowing and I'm all bronzed because I got a spray tan. This was my second spray tan that I've ever had in my entire life. And the first one did not go that great. Maybe I'll share that episode on the podcast one day. Maybe I won't. It's literally like one of my most embarrassing stories. Like, I can't share it right now. Maybe one day, but definitely not right now. But yeah, my spray tan artist, her name was Amber, and her business is called Glow, and she basically specializes in doing custom spray tans for people of color, which is really nice because I feel like a lot of Black girls feel like they don't need spray tans or they don't need to tan. And it's not that we do, but the results of my tan literally like had me second guessing myself. Like, I was so pale. I looked like the Walking Dead for my before and after. Like, it was just absolutely insane. My skin tone is like way more even. I look way more like glowy, alive. I don't know. Like, it really just transformed my entire confidence level. Like, I get it now. I get the hype about the tanning. And actually, Amber from Glow, she was so nice, y'all. She said that if you guys book her for a spray tan and mention me, that she will give you $10 off of your service. Okay, so do yourself a favor, go book the spray tan appointment if you're local in the Baton Rouge area. She does travel, and then she also, I think, has like a shop or something. But yeah, be sure to go book with her. She was super nice, so sweet, very thorough. Like, she made sure to get everything. When I say everything, girl, we got everything, okay? So she's gonna make sure that you are not missing a spot. But anyways, enough about me. Let's go ahead and get into today's podcast episode, which is all about creating a routine and actually being consistent and sticking to it and not just leaving it on the side of the road like we always do. I know every time the new year rolls around, everybody is like, new year, new me. I'm going to start implementing this and doing this and adding this to my routine and da 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 da. And then 3 months pass and you ask your girl like, oh, what happened to you working out or reading more or doing whatever? And they're like, oh, girl, I didn't. You know, like, how many of us have said that we were going to start doing something and then we ended up quitting before we even tried? Honestly, it's very easy to be like overzealous at the beginning of a new year and like crave that fresh start and want to start implementing all of these things that you've been wanting to do. But we have to be careful about that, because when we do that, we are low-key setting ourselves up for failure when it comes to being consistent and disciplined in our routine, which you guys know is a big resolution for me this year. So I wanted to, just since we're in the second week of the new year, we're doing our second week check-in. I want us to keep going strong on our goals and staying motivated and keeping our eye on the prize, because it's very easy to just like go back to our old ways. So on today's episode, I'm going to be sharing why it's so hard for us to stick to a routine, how to create a routine, habit stacking. We're getting into it all today, so buckle up and I hope you're ready, because I'm about to be keeping you accountable all year. All right, so the first thing that we're going to go over in today's episode is why it's so hard for us to stick to a routine. Y'all know I be doing my research on these types of things because I really want to give y'all quality steps and quality things to think about so that you can then reevaluate your own self in your own life and be like, well, maybe this is me, or I resonate with that, or I identify with this. So I have 4 reasons on why it can be kind of difficult to stick to a routine. Number 1 is going to be a lack of intrinsic motivation. Now, for those of my girlies who don't know what intrinsic motivation is, it's basically like motivation from yourself, motivation that's coming from within. It's a lot of times it's hard for us to stick to a routine because we're lacking that internal intrinsic motivation. Now, I think a big reason for this, honestly, is probably social media. And I hate to say it because I'm a big social media girly. I love seeing other people's routines and like what they're doing, what they're implementing, and getting inspiration for myself. But I think sometimes we skip over the inspiration part and just try and follow something exactly like that person is doing. And so because of that, we're not really doing it because it's something that we want to do. We're doing it because like we see somebody else doing it and we're trying to be like them. So because we're adding these things into our routine that's not necessarily aligning with us, or it doesn't really matter to us, or we don't really care about it, now we don't have the intrinsic motivation to actually do it because it didn't come from us. It didn't come from our own thought process of like what we wanted to add into our routine. Does that make sense? So if that's you, it's okay. I feel like this is not us not trying. It is us seeing something that we like and wanting to be, and the lifestyle that we want to have, and trying to implement it into our own lives. But again, you have to really evaluate, like, why do I want to have this in my routine? Is this something that's coming from me personally? Is it something that I wanted to do, or is this something that I just saw somebody else doing and I love the life that she lives and I just want to be just like her, so now I'm going to do the same routine that she has, right? So we really want to make sure that we're having the intrinsic motivation to do the things that we said that we were going to do, and not just do them because we seen our favorite influencer doing it. Okay, the next reason why it might be difficult for you to stick to a routine is maybe you have some unattainable goals. I hate to say it, okay? Don't shoot the messenger. But maybe your goals are kind of unrealistic. Maybe you haven't really given much thought to this. Like, you're thinking about the big picture thing and thinking that it's going to happen overnight, and like it's unattainable for you and it's unrealistic because it's something that you've literally never done before. Like, let's take working out, for example. If you've never worked out a day in your life, you cannot say, I'm going to add 6 days a week of workouts into my routine. You've never even worked out one day. So how do you think that you're going to be able to make it 6 days consistently and not get burnt out, not get tired, not feel unmotivated because you're not used to it? Like, you have to really be realistic and set attainable goals for yourself, because if you're setting those unclear goals, if you're setting those unattainable goals, then of course it's going to make you fall off the wagon and not be consistent in your routine. So we really have to be like brutally honest with ourselves and realistic with ourselves in setting our goals and setting the things that we're putting into our routines. Like, is this something that I can actually manage and maintain for this amount of time in my life? And obviously you can always work up, but I think that in order to start, like, we have to start small and we have to start working our way towards the big thing. It's okay to want the big thing, but we have to be realistic on how we're going to get there and how fast we're going to get there. All right, the next reason why you might be struggling to be consistent in your routine is maybe you're not really finding the activities or the things you're implementing into your routine enjoyable. Maybe you're doing things that you feel like you have to do instead of doing things that you feel like you want to do. And again, this kind of goes back to what I was saying earlier about the social media thing and just kind of seeing what everybody else is doing. Like, maybe you feel like, oh my gosh, I have to work out this many times a week. I have to eat this healthy. I have to drink this much water. I have to have this in my skincare routine. And it takes the enjoyment out of it because it's almost like you're punishing yourself. Like, you're not giving yourself the opportunity to even enjoy the routine that you're creating because none of it is what you wanted in the first place. So it takes the fun out of it, the enjoyment out of it. And of course, that's going to make you lose motivation, not be disciplined, and not be consistent. So really, when you're thinking about like creating your routine, you want to do things that are actually enjoyable for you, are going to be manageable for you, but are also like going to be fun and really transform your life in a positive way and not a negative one. And then the last reason I have on why it's so hard to stick to a routine is maybe you're being overwhelmed by the effort required. And what I mean by this is like, maybe you have a goal set and the more that you're thinking about it, the more that it's overwhelming you because you realize how much work you're actually going to have to put in. So it makes it more difficult for you to kind of resonate with the thing that you're trying to reach because you feel like you'll never get there. I'll put it this way. It's almost like you see the end result and you want the end result, but you don't really want to put in the work that it takes to get to the end result because it's so overwhelming and you're realizing how much work you're going to have to actually put in that it almost makes you not want it anymore. Now, I know we all know that anything worth having is probably going to be hard to get. I feel like that's just a philosophy of life. And if you want something bad enough, then you're going to put in the work in order to achieve that or be that or do that. But again, it has to be something that you want, that you are wanting out of this life and wanting to do. Because if you feel like the effort that you're going to be putting forth is worth it, then you're going to put forth the effort. But if you feel like, oh, I don't really care about this, like I don't really want to put my time and effort and energy into doing a skincare routine every single night, then you won't. If you don't think that is beneficial for you to have a skincare routine into your routine, then it's not going to matter. You're not going to want to put in that effort because you just don't care. So I feel like all of these kind of work together. Like you really need to make sure that in order to have that intrinsic motivation, that you're doing things that you like, that are enjoyable. You want to set realistic goals. You want to find enjoyment in the things that you're doing, and you want to feel like the effort that you're putting in is actually going to be worth what you're getting out. So really a lot of this is just going to take you kind of reflecting over your life, kind of looking at what you want out of life, what is important to you, and then creating a routine based off of that. Now, like I said, it's okay to look at Pinterest and TikTok and the Instagram girlies and see what they're doing and grab inspiration from them, but don't put things that you know you don't care about or just kind of unrealistic for you to do. Like, don't put that in your routine because it's just going to burst up in flames and not be good for anybody. So now that I've given you guys some reasons on why it might be hard for you to stick to your routine, I hope that you were able to kind of pinpoint you somewhere in that list and reflect a little bit on why you haven't been able to stick to your routine. But now we're going to jump into how to actually create a routine and what those steps look like. So obviously the first step in anything that you want to do in life is deciding that you want to do it. So you have to decide, like, what do you want in your routine? And this is kind of like what I just said. You have to prioritize what is important to you. And this could take some time. I know some people who can like name out things that they want in their routine like that, but for some people who have maybe never had a routine before, it could be difficult to try and figure out and think like, what do I care about? What is something that I want to do every single day? What is something that if I do this every single day is going to make me a better version of myself? So you really do have to sit and think about it and write out what is it that you want to add into your routine, because that really is step one. You don't really need to worry about the order or when you're going to do it, in the morning, the night, whatever. Like, as long as you know this is something that you want to have done in the day, write it down so that it can be added into your routine later on in the process, more strategically, I guess is the word I want to say. Like, maybe you can have specific times for certain things and you can fill that out in your calendar or in your daily planner or wherever you want to put it. But just have the list first so that you know exactly the things that you want to implement in your day-to-day life and see if you even have time for it, honestly. All right. The next way that we're going to create a routine is we're going to set small goals. Like I said before, we have to be realistic with ourselves. It is okay to want the big thing. It is okay to have a big goals, but you have to be able to figure out the stepping stones on what it's going to take for you to get there. So what you want to do is you can think about the big goal, but then let's break it off into smaller goals and really like think about what steps you are going to have to take in order to work up to the big goal. So I know I keep using working out as an example, but it's just literally the easiest example that I can come up with out of thin air. Let's say you want to get to the point where you are working out 6 times a week, but for right now, maybe during like the first 30 days or the first 2 months, you only want to work out 3 times a week. Like, we're going to cut that goal in half, start smaller, work out 3 times a week. Once we've mastered that, okay, now we can add 4 times a week. Now we can add 5 and work our way up until we ultimately make it to 6 times a week. Everything doesn't have to be so like instantaneously fast. Like, yeah, I said that I was going to work out 6 times a week and I woke up the next day and I worked out 6 times a week. Like, that's not everybody's story, and it's really not realistic at all. So you really have to be patient with yourself and give yourself grace and just take it day by day, because it takes time to build a habit. And if you do want to accomplish something that is way far out of something that you've ever accomplished before, you have to realize it's going to take time, it's going to take patience and discipline, but it will happen eventually. All right, the next step, we are going to lay out our routine. Now, this can look a little bit different for everyone, but there are a few different ways that we can do this. One way that I've been doing it is just kind of writing it out in my notes every single day, which is honestly kind of annoying, but I'll talk about what I've been trying to do in a few seconds. But what I have been doing is writing out what I want to do like in the morning and at night. So I have like morning routine list, and then I have a nighttime routine list, which honestly just makes it so much better for me to actually see my layout of the day, what I plan on doing, what time I'm doing it. Like, it honestly just takes the stress out of the day so much, because I literally have everything laid out right in front of me. But if you don't like using your notes app, or you don't like cluttering up your phone with nonsense, then obviously if you have a daily planner, you can use that. Sometimes they have the little hour block thing, so that you can write out at 6 a.m. I'm going to wake up. At 6:30, I'm working out. At 7:45, I'm making breakfast and taking a shower. Like, whatever that looks like for you, really try and be super specific about like what you're doing, when you're doing it, and lay it out so you can plainly see like what you're doing and what you got going on. But something that I've been recently getting into is Notion. Now, I don't know how many girlies I heard know about Notion. I feel like if you're an iPad girly, you definitely know about Notion. If you're in college, or if you're like a tech girly, then you probably know about Notion. But for those of you who don't, it is basically like, I don't even know how to describe it. Like, you can create calendars, to-do lists. It's literally like a one-stop shop for everything planning based. Like, it is so organized. It's so high tech and advanced. I don't even know what I'm doing half the time. I have no idea. I'm still trying to work it out and figure it out. I've watched so many YouTube videos on like how to create a Notion planner and like all this other kind of stuff. Like, it honestly is a lot. So if you do have an iPad, or even if you have a computer, because they have it on the desktop too, then I would definitely highly suggest Notion, because you can have to-do lists and things in there, and it can regenerate for the next day. Like, you can do habit tracking, you can do like finance, like you can literally do everything in Notion. And I feel like I've tried to use it last year, but I couldn't really get the hang of it. So I'm trying it again so that I can get out of my notes app, clean out my notes, because Lord knows how many random notes I got in there being like to do. Like, it's too much. So I am trying to be in my Notion bag this year, and hopefully I figure it out. But if any of y'all have any tips, please let me know in the comments. But okay, moving on. Lay out your routine. All right. The next step that we're going to do is we're going to be consistent with time. Okay. I feel like this is an extra step that maybe you don't want to do, but it would be very beneficial if you did. I think that when you are trying to create a routine, time is very, very important, because if you can train your body to expect or do the same things every single day at this certain time, then you're already setting yourself up for success. Like, you want to make sure that you're waking up at the same time every day, working out at the same time every day. I'm not going to say eating at the same time every day, because that's a little cray cray, but if you want to do that, then you can. I'm not stopping you. But the reason that we're doing this, like I said, is to train your bodies to expect these things to be happening at these certain times in the day. Because the more that you train your body to expect it at that certain certain time, the more that you're going to realize like when you don't do it or when you're slipping, and it will almost feel like your day is not complete until you do it. So I do think that like pinpointing your entire day down to a specific time, maybe not even your entire day, but just your routine down to a specific time, then you know that like I have this block of time dedicated for me to do X, Y, and Z and only this. And it also helps with just being consistent all around too, when you're consistent with the time that you're doing your activities or your routine set for the day. All right, the next step in creating our routine is you have to be prepared. You have to be prepared, girlfriend. What I mean by this is I need you to make sure that you have everything you need. I'm talking, if you want to do oil pulling in the morning like me, you need to make sure you got some pulling oil in your drawer or your cabinet. If you want to implement a morning and nighttime skincare routine, you need to make sure that you have all the products that you want. If you know that you want to go to the gym every single day, you need to make sure you have your gym bag, your cute gym clothes, your cute gym accessories, whatever it is, you need to make sure that you are prepared and have everything you need in order to be successful. And another way that we can be prepared is to maybe like prep the night before or something. Like, you know, when you wake up, you're gonna oil pull, brush your teeth, and do your skincare routine and go work out. You need to make sure everything is on the counter, your toothbrush, toothpaste, oil pull, your skincare products, whatever you're using. And then you need to make sure that you have your workout outfit laid out, shoes, socks, everything. Because if you don't plan, then you're just planning to fail. All right. I feel like everybody has heard that quote before. If you're failing to plan, you're planning to fail. So you really need to make sure that you're on your P's and Q's and prepared for everything that you need to be successful throughout the day. So that way you don't have any excuses like, oh, I didn't set my alarm clock. Oh, I didn't have my favorite leggings washed, so I didn't go to the gym. Like, no, we're going to be prepared and we're going to be ready at any given time to do the things that we need to do. I'm being a little sassy today. I need to chill out a little bit. Okay. Next step in creating our routine is I really want you guys to make it an experience. Okay. This is a part of romanticizing your life and really looking forward to the things that you have planned in the day. When you get up in the morning, maybe you want to listen to some relaxing music or throw on a podcast. When you're doing your nighttime routine, maybe you want to have a candle lit and like a diffuser going with essential oils. I don't know. Like, I really just want you guys to set the mood, set the vibe, and really make it an experience for you to be able to enjoy the things that you're going to be doing. Instead of viewing your routine as something that, oh my gosh, I have to do this. I said I was going to do this. I really want you guys to focus on making that time super special. Make it about you putting yourself first, you treating yourself. Like, really make it all about you, because it is. This is time for you to be in tune with yourself, with your mind, with your body, to take control of your actions during the day. And it's actually a very powerful and beautiful thing if you think about it, when you really take the time to create routines that are setting you up for success. It really is all about you. So make it an experience that you want to enjoy, so that you can look forward to doing it throughout the day. Next step, we are going to be tracking our progress all 2024, okay? And why do we need to track our progress? Because tracking your progress keeps you accountable. Let's be real. At the end of the day, the only person that we have to answer to is ourselves. And especially if you're not sharing your routine with anyone, like online or wherever, like with your friends, your family, nobody else is really going to be able to hold you accountable but you. So in order to be able to hold yourself accountable, you need to make sure that you are tracking your progress so you can understand and see like where you're excelling and where you're failing. There are tons of habit trackers that are online. There are checklists that you can make just on your own on a notepad. There are Notion templates. Like, you literally have no excuse not to be tracking your progress this year. And while we're on the subject of habit tracking, I want to just kind of side sweep right here and talk talk about habit stacking just for a little bit because I know I've already been talking for a long time, but I really want to talk to y'all about habit stacking and why it's such a good way to kind of help you get into a better routine throughout the day. So if you guys don't know what habit stacking is or have never heard of it, it is a method of building new habits on top of what did I just say? It is a method of building new habits on top of old ones or pre-existing ones. So examples, say like every single day, you brush your teeth. Like this is something that everybody does in their everyday routine. It is something that we have to do. Honestly, if you don't, you gross and you nasty. But anyways, everybody brushes their teeth every single day. So let's say you want to start drinking more water throughout the day. Something that you could habit stack on is you brushing your teeth. So after you brush your teeth, you say, after I brush my teeth, I'm going to drink a glass of water. And that then is going to help you drink more water during the day because you're stacking a new habit on top of an old one. Does that make sense? It really is just kind of like a way to help you to remember to do it, to like add it into your routine because you're doing it after something you already normally do. And I've done like a lot of research on this, and they say that this is one of the best ways to help you create new habits and implement new habits because you're just stacking it on top of something that you already do anyways. So it's just one little extra step to be like, oh, let me go fix myself a glass of water so I can drink it after I brush my teeth. Like it's something that's so simple as that. Or maybe you want to say like, I want to start working out when I get home. Well, we all know that whenever we get home from work, what's the first thing we do? We take off our shoes, we take off our work clothes. So immediately you can say, after I get home and take off my work clothes, I'm putting on a gym outfit or a workout outfit. So then that can remind you, oh, I need to go work out instead of going sitting on the couch and eating a bag of chips after you take off your work clothes, which I get it. Everybody wants to relax after a long day of work. I get it. But if you are saying to yourself, this is a habit that I want to start implementing into my life, then you need to stack it on top of something that you're already doing in order for you to help make it a reality and not just an idea in your head. So I love habit stacking. I feel like I've unconsciously done it in my own life, especially with like my skincare routine, I would say, because I used to only have like 3 products in my skincare routine. And then I slowly started adding in a serum. And then I slowly started adding in my snail mucin. And then I now have like 6 or 7 things that I put on my skin during my skincare routine. And I feel like it's just because I unconsciously habit stacked. Like I was already putting on a toner, so now after I put on my toner, let me just put on my serum. Like it's one little extra step, but now like I have to do it every single time because I've conditioned myself to do it that way. So really habit stacking is kind of like your built-in reminder to do something that you said you were going to do. It's kind of like a cue check. Like this is my cue to do this new thing that I want to start doing. So if you're having trouble with starting a new habit or being consistent with your routine, maybe try habit stacking and doing new things on top of the old things or pre-existing things that you already do and see how that works out for you. All right, y'all, we have made it to the last step of creating a solid routine and sticking to it. And it is reward yourself. Everybody's favorite one. Everybody loves rewards. We love prizes. I'm a firm believer of like, if you do something that you said you were going to do, like you deserve a prize. You deserve something in return because you accomplished what you said you were going to accomplish. Really, it's just like an increased motivation and like to want to continue doing those things. You're positively reinforcing yourself for the good things that you did. And it doesn't have to be anything big. It can obviously be something small, like maybe because you worked out 5 days a week, like you get to treat yourself to a new sports bra or like a new pair of cute little gym socks. I don't know. Like it doesn't really have to be anything super expensive. Like, oh, I went to work every day this week. Now I get to buy myself a new computer. Like, let's slow down. You already know you have to go to work every single day. That was a bad example, but I'm just saying, when you do something good, when you've proven a point to yourself, you ought to reward yourself because then it's just going to keep pushing you to want to keep doing it. And obviously, like you don't have to reward yourself every single time, but until it is a consistent habit and until you are used to doing it every single day, I would say positively reinforce yourself as many times as you need in order to make it a consistent thing in your life. So yeah, that's the end of my list on how to create a solid routine. routine. I just want to have like a little reminder before I let you guys go that it's going to take time. It's going to take time to build a habit, okay? I know everybody says it takes 21 days to build a habit. Well, that is a lie, okay? It is a bald-faced lie. It is a myth. It does not take 21 days to build a habit. It actually takes a little bit longer than that. And when I was researching this, it says on average it takes about 66 days to build a habit. So if you're not getting something after 1 month, like, don't beat yourself up about it, because you still have some ways to go until it is a consistent thing that you're doing in your life. And for some people, it might even take longer. For some people, it might take shorter. But I feel like everybody is on their own journey. And as long as you focus on you and yourself and the things that you want to do and stop worrying about how long it took somebody else to do something, then you're going to be so much better off for it, because you're not comparing your journey and your process to anybody else but yourself. The only competition you have in this life is you, and you're just trying to be a better version of you than you were the day before. And you just have to give yourself grace. You have to keep putting in the work in order to make the things that you want in your life, these routines, these habits, second nature. You're gonna miss some days. Shucks, you might even miss some weeks, some months, but every day is a new day to work towards your goal. We need to take the pressure off of ourselves of like, I need to be getting this done by January 31st. Like, I need to make sure that I'm doing good. Like, it's okay. Like, there really is no pressure. You're the only one that's putting pressure on yourself because, I don't know, maybe you're trying to portray some type of image to someone or something. I have no idea, but there really is no pressure. Like, you have the ability to start over as many times as you want. Nobody's going to fault you for it. Nobody is out here doing every single thing that they said that they were going to do every single day. But you know what we are doing? We are trying. And that's all that you can ask from yourself, is to just try. It's not about creating a routine for the sake of having a routine, for the aesthetic of having a routine. It is about making meaningful lifestyle choices that are going to help you become a better all-around person. So anyways, I'm going to get off of my soapbox now. I hope this video helped you kind of get motivated to maybe create a routine if you don't have one already, or maybe re-motivate you to stick to the routine that you're already implementing in your life. I have to say, me personally, I feel like I've been doing pretty good in some aspects not so much. Like working out, I only worked out twice last week. And I mean, it's better than nothing. I went from 0 to 2. So we're making progress. This week, I'm going to try and work out 4 times a week. I'll keep you guys updated. But really, I've just been doing some at-home Pilates workouts from the YouTube videos. There are so many good YouTube videos out there, you guys. Like, literally working out. You don't have to pay nobody ever again. Like, we have everything for free, honestly, on YouTube. But I will say, I have been doing good on waking up early. I woke up at 5. I pretty much woke up between 5 and 5:30 every single day last week, which is amazing. I feel like I've been getting so much done in the morning. I'm able to like clean up and do my morning chores. I'm able to write in my journal, read my Bible, all before Ace wakes up, typically, because he been kind of waking up a little bit earlier than what I'm used to. But for the most part, I feel like I've been able to get so much more done. And it just makes me feel better when I wake up in the morning, like knowing I don't have to go straight to Ace. I get to have time for myself, like alone, quiet, peace. So yeah, my routine is paying off. I say all that to say my routine is paying off. I'm really excited to keep it going. And I hope that you guys are as well. We are only 2 weeks into the new year. All right. Be gentle with yourself. Give yourself some grace, some love. And yeah, I love you guys. Thank you so much for listening. Have a great Monday, a great week, and I will see you in my next episode. Bye.